I love watching Afghanistan play. I still remember, in the West Indies, 2010, when Afghanistan played their first T20, World T20, and I was on when the first ball came along. So, yeah, I like watching Afghanistan. I watch them closely and really rate them as a side.
You watched them today as well. 312 is a very big target. Do you think they would be able to chase it?
It was always going to be tough. It was always going to be tough. But at times like these, you look for little individual performances. The first time I saw Rahmat Shah, I rated him as a batsman. I've been very impressed with Ikram Ali Khil. That's how you pronounce it, Ikram Ali Khil.
Yes.
So very impressed by the way he's been batting. Been a big fan of Nabi and Rashid. I know them well. Get to chat with them a little bit. I think they've been torch bearers of Afghanistan cricket. If Afghanistan cricket is known around the world, it's largely because of these two players. Love watching Mujib. So, but 300 was always going to be tough. But as we record this, it's been a really impressive run chase.
I mean, they have lost most of their games. How was their performance during this World Cup? I mean, you have seen them playing against other countries as well.
You know, and I've seen this with a lot of countries that just start out. I saw it with Sri Lanka in through the 80s and early 90s till the core of Murali and Sangakkara and the others came. Even little before Aravinda and Ranatunga came. I've seen this with Bangladesh. They're now playing very good cricket, but it took a long time. You know, you break into the big league because you're better than everybody else. And then in the big league, you suddenly find it's a very different world. So Afghanistan will take time. And with Afghanistan, you have to be very, very patient. India played its first test in England in 32, won in 71. So you've got to be really patient with them. There's a lot of talent in this side. What I like with Afghanistan is that the youngsters are doing well. Sometimes, as you saw with Ireland, for example, that there's a group of very good players who bring you up to a point, but the future is with the youngsters. Ireland didn't have them, Afghanistan do.
We have had a change in the captaincy. Do you think it was a right decision to change it just before the World Cup?
It normally isn't, but I do not understand the dynamics behind why that happened. It normally isn't. The reason I was surprised was I'd followed the qualification. Afghanistan under Rashid Khan are in trouble there. Asghar Stanikzai, no, he's Asghar Afghan, right? Asghar Afghan comes in there. And he makes a difference to the side. He scored a few runs too, but the side qualifies under him. So these are things you watch from the outside. I got the impression that they were all gelling around Asghar, but I do not know the reasons beyond that.
Do you think changing the captaincy may have actually affected their performance as well during this World Cup?
Honestly, I don't know, because that depends on the relationship of the players. I found it interesting that Gulbuddin Naib said just before the tournament started that Asghar will be my captain. So I don't know if that can affect that, but I still think that in patches, Afghanistan have played good cricket. Sometimes you have to take the little moments that come your way, like the game against Pakistan, the little moment, the game against India, little moments. Now, it depends on how you see those. Do you say, they didn't win against Pakistan, they didn't win against India? Or do you say, you know what, these are teams that have been around for so long with so many quality players and we almost got there. Next time, we'll take the almost out and get there.
You know most of our players. You've been with them. You've talked to them. Who do you think that would have been able to make a good captain for Afghanistan team?
I don't know from the playing side. Obviously, I've known Rashid when he plays at Sunrisers. I've known Nabi when he plays for Sunrisers. I've seen that side to them. Nabi has been around for so long. I like his temperament. I don't know how he is as a leader, but I like his very calm, unflappable temperament. Rashid is a young performer yet, who's got to go on and do bigger things in life. So maybe it's not a good idea to burden him. But beyond that, I don't know them well enough to know what the dynamics within a team are.
What about Pakistan game? A decision was made by the captain, especially the 5 last overs. Do you think it was the right decision by the captain?
It's always very easy when you know the result to determine whether a decision was right or wrong. But when the captain takes the decision, you don't know what the outcome of that decision is going to be. So it's easy for us to say it was a wrong decision because we know what happened afterwards. So he took the decision. Look, captains get some right and get some wrong. Who've been the greatest captains in the world? They get some right and they get some wrong. And the ones they get right don't get talked about as much. The ones they get wrong talked about a lot. But if I was an Afghanistan media person, if I was an Afghanistan fan, I would search for the positives in this campaign. I mean, here you're playing against the West Indies. There's a young keeper, 18, 19 years old. He comes and scores a 75. I think we must celebrate the little things that have gone right, because many things will go wrong. It's a process of evolution. I've seen that with India, as I said. I've seen that with Pakistan, with Sri Lanka, with Bangladesh. So I think we must celebrate the pluses. And I think there have been a few pluses for Afghanistan in this World
And
Cup.
my just last question, is there an advice for Afghanistan team for the T20 World Cup? Anything you would tell them to do?
For someone who played, I played 100 international test matches. No, but seriously, I think their spin bowling attack is very good. What I would like to see, I think when Afghanistan are coming up the ranks with Hamid Hassan and Shapur Zadran, they're a really good new ball attack with Daulat coming behind. I don't know if there's a couple. I like the lefty very much today, the young left-hand bowler. So I think if you can get a couple of quick bowlers coming through, it'll add to the spinners. But I don't know if there are any coming through. Must watch what Afghanistan's team just below the international team is doing. But otherwise, I think there's a lot of good young batsmen coming through. Afghanistan at T20 will be a bigger force than Afghanistan over 50 overs at this stage.
Thank you very much for giving me your time. Otherwise, I would have loved to talk to you for so long if you had the time. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank
Pleasure.
you.
I enjoy watching Afghanistan play, and I wish you well. I hope cricket is a big factor in bringing everybody in the country together, because sport is supposed to bring smiles, and I hope cricket brings smiles to Afghanistan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dear Yatamanana.